Hey guys, Satyajit here and you are watching Satyajit's artwork. In this video, we'll see how you can reach from this particular stage to this. So without a further ado, let's get started. Now, in this particular case, as you can see that I'm painting a still life containing some peel of oranges in a brush basil. So while painting this particular piece, we'll also discuss about the importance of learning traditional art well and how it actually helps in your digital paintings. Now at this stage you can see that how I'm just building the layers of paint very gradually without thinking about the details too much. I'm also not very much concerned about the shape. As you can see, I'm just putting colors. Now there are two scenarios. As you can see, one is with pan pressure on and another is with pan pressure off. With pan pressure on, as you can see that in certain places the background is showing through. Now it is showing through because at certain places I am putting less amount of pressure, and when I am putting less amount of pressure the layer underneath is actually showing through. But I don't want it in this particular stage because I want a solid coverage of the area, and that's why I put the pan pressure off and I'm just painting with solid color. I'm also using a round brush which is hard round. I'm not using a soft round brush at this particular stage. So as you can see, I'm working down the oranges and I'm just trying to capture the likeness of the areas. I'm not concerned about the details or the nuances or the detailings of each individual facets of this particular oranges. At this particular stage it is only about building the colors and covering the areas like I do with my traditional paintings. Those who are following me for quite some time, they have seen me painting a lot of paintings with traditional mediums like acrylics, watercolors and more, and in those cases also I approach in the similar fashion. Some people will think that digital art is actually something that it is more mechanical. Yeah, it's mechanical. There are a lot of advantages compared to traditional art, but if you know the principles of traditional art, then you can actually mimic that on digital art and it will actually reflect. It will not look very much digital. I mean, it will not look very artificial. It will have some sort of painterly qualities. Like in this case also, I'm not trying to capture or I'm not trying to mimic the exact photograph that I am using as reference. I'm just taking it as reference. I'm still maintaining some painterly qualities. As you can see from this particular stage also, it is very expressive. I just want to paint this particular subject containing its characteristics. So this is very important, guys. Now at this stage you can see that I'm working on the brush basil, and in this case also I'm just establishing the values. The values are important. Doesn't matter whether you are painting with digital medium or traditional medium, the values are the king. If the values are not right, doesn't matter in which particular software you are painting, which particular brush you are using, it's all in vain if the values are not right. And how can you learn about values? It's only about understanding and painting in tremendous amount when you are learning the principles of painting or the art as a whole. And that comes when you practice with traditional mediums like poster color or like gouache or acrylics, watercolors. For that purpose also I'll say that it helps a lot. because there are a lot of things like transparency and all those things that can actually teach you a lot more about the use of color and the values in certain places as per requirement that you won't learn by having a pen tablet and you are just learning Photoshop and use of brushes, pen tool and all those things. Those are technical terms. You must know the principles of art and the principles of painting, especially in case of realism. If you don't know that, then it will be very hard for you to paint even in digital medium. And I am not speaking about the digital smudge painting, because there are a lot of people who are doing digital smudge painting in the name of digital art. There is no offense against them, but I frankly don't consider it as digital art, because it is completely a mechanical thing. You are just rubbing that brush over the surface, which is a photograph basically, and you are just getting a oil painting kind of effect, and the people who are viewing it just kind of feels like wow. But that's not the case, guys. If you want to draw, then you have to start from the scratch. You should know and understand how the values build up, how the color reacts in different environment, in different situation. For an example, in this particular case also, now I have just started to add details and all those reflected and refracted light, and this is very important, that how the light is working at a particular place, how the light is reacting with the subject, and it is very much dependent on the environment. I have also said it earlier when I was painting in traditional mediums. In my earlier videos, if you just go through them, then you will see that I have mentioned this, how important is the use of light and understanding the light when it comes to realistic painting. So at this stage you can see I am just trying to build the texture on certain areas, and this part is also very important, that without texture, if you just think like that I have got a digital painting and I will use a paintbrush, and after that I will use the blur tool or the smudge tool in order to smudge everything, and it will look very good and it will look realistic, then it is not going to work in that way, my dear friend, because nothing is textureless. Actually, if you see a very smooth surface, then it also has got some sort of texture. The smoothness is the texture of that particular surface. So in this case, there is a lot of texture involved in this particular oranges, and you have to understand the texture in order to mimic it properly. Otherwise you will just put your whole energy and time in copying them, and frankly speaking, guys, this won't even work, because the copying won't give the kind of result that you are looking for. People will think like that, yeah, he's just copying from the photograph. No, my dear friend, it's not about copying. You can't do realistic paintings only depending on the facts that you can actually copy things from certain areas. It is not about copying, it is about understanding and mimicking those things as per your requirement. Now, as in this particular case, I have started working on the brush vessel, and you can see that how gradually I am building the colors. There is very minimal difference between different color values that I am using right now, but all these differences is actually going to put forward a great result. See guys, a good painting, a good realistic painting is that which contains a lot of variation in the colors. The slightest variation in the colors makes a huge impact that you need to remember, that you need to keep in your mind while painting realistic subjects, because the more variations you will bring in your subject, richer your subject will look, the more real it will look. It is not about that I'm putting a lot of color. Lot of color is not necessary. Maybe at certain places you just need a bit of color, a bit of touch, and it will create magic. So that is something that you need to really understand in order to do good realistic paintings, be it digital medium or traditional medium. See guys, a traditional medium is far more difficult than digital medium. I'll admit that. I myself has done a lot of traditional paintings, and then I'm now shifted. I'll not say shifted because this is the demand of the situation that has forced me to actually paint in digital medium, because I'm not able to access to my materials that are necessary for traditional painting right this moment because of this pandemic. So in this case, you can see that how I'm just putting this particular background, which a lot of people said that they were not happy with the background. They wanted me to work it in some other way, but that is how I liked it, guys, because I like the chaos and the peace and the mixture of both of them, because I feel that you can only feel the peace when there is chaos, because this situation which we are going through is a perfect example of that. Now we are feeling that how good life earlier was, but in those time we used to say, oh no, I have a lot of problems in life and it is not going well. But now we are just actually craving for those moments that we lived before pandemic. So with that note, I would like to conclude this video, guys. I hope you learned something out of this video. If you want to see more, then please stay tuned and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Stay safe. Hey guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you want to support my work, then please do like, comment and share my works, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon, which is very important, so that you get notified as soon as I post a new video.